Oh, he was waiting. Here we go. Perfect. Awesome. Well, should we get started?
Yeah, we can get started.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. I am super excited to be here. I've been hearing about OsteoStrong and I've actually had a number of patients that have become clients at OsteoStrong. And a couple of months ago, Jayson and I have hooked up and we now have some shared patients. And so I was hoping he would come on and do a little talk and teach, help me convey what it is that he does to help people with their bones and their bodies. So I'm super happy to be here. Jayson, nice to meet. I'm introducing you.
Oh, why, thank you so much. I'm listening to another conversation that's happening here. I'm Jayson. I'm the owner of the OsteoStrong in Arcadia and Scottsdale. I'm happy to be on this call today to share what OsteoStrong does and how we help people improve bone density.
Awesome.
So,
Well, I'll go ahead and share my screen here. All right. Can you see that okay?
I can.
Okay. Um, those of you that do know me, hello. And those of you that don't, my name is Dr. Leila Turner. I'm the medical director at Living Wellness Medical Center, which is a short stroll away from the Arcadia location of OsteoStrong. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been practicing since 2007 and treating primarily women and menopause and thyroid. And so I see a lot of bone loss. Here's information about our clinic. If anyone's interested, we do offer a free 10-minute phone consult with any of my 5 doctors that are there. So if you want to take a screenshot of that page, feel free. So I'm going to dive right in. This is my bone wheel. And for those of you that have met with me before, you've probably seen me draw this out. There's a number of factors that affect the health and the density and the stretchiness and the bendability of our bones. And all of these factors I'm going to go through, not in extreme detail, but I want to just give you an overview of bone health. So I'm going to start up here with estrogen. Estrogen protects our bones more than any other hormone, particularly in women. And when women's estrogen declines in perimenopause and menopause, this is when they are more susceptible to losing the majority of their bone loss. So I'll tell women, ideally get a bone density when their periods start becoming irregular. They definitely want to get a bone density after it's been a full year without a period, because she'll lose the most of her bone density in those first few years after her last period. So estrogen is big. If she's interested in estrogen replacement therapy, you're also going to get more benefits if you start it sooner to that last menstrual period. If she waits 7 or 10 or 15 years after her last menstrual period, she would have already lost most of the bone density that she would have potentially maybe held on to had she started those hormone replacements earlier. So estrogen is one of the hormones that I offer as a hormone replacement therapy. Testosterone, which I realize I also misspelled apparently. We think of this as our androgen hormone, our male hormone, our get up and go hormone, motivation, creativity. Testosterone also helps with bone density and strength. So this is a hormone I also will test for and give. This hormone starts to decline in women even in their 30s and 40s. So I like to test that early. Progesterone also will help bone density. And all 3 of these hormones, there's different ways of taking those hormones. There's oral, there's topical, there's creams, there's pellets, there's injections. And depending on the woman's personal medical history, there's different risks and benefits on the different ways that they could take those hormones. But generally speaking, these are the hormones we consider with hormone replacement therapy. And the sooner you start them, the more benefit you'll get from using them. We all know calcium is used for the bone. When I explain this to patients, to me, calcium is kind of like the brick used to make the wall. The vitamin D and the vitamin K, those are going to be used for the mortar around the brick when you're building your wall. I measure vitamin D, and I always recommend not using the conventional reference range for vitamin D. The conventional reference range says 30 to 100 is normal. And I want people to be more like a 60 to 70 or 60 to 80. So if you haven't ever checked your vitamin D, get it checked. Vitamin K, there's lots of different vitamin Ks. There's K1, K2, and K3. The one I give for bones is vitamin K2, which is not actually associated with clotting. So again, we talk about the pros and cons of using vitamin K. Sleep and stress is huge. The more stressed you are, you actually can become a little bit acidic. And we'll talk more about acid base when I get to the diet section. But not having enough sleep, actually, there's a number of research studies that show that sleep deprivation, it creates an inflammatory reaction in the body, which can then also weaken bones. Collagen and protein. I've worked with women, and I know Jayson shared a story with me too that was really significant. We can do all these other things for our bones, but if we don't have enough protein, then it doesn't matter what type of weight-bearing exercising you're doing, you're going to have difficulty with maintaining proper bone
I'm
density.
curious about this, but
For those of you that are attendees, if you can just mute yourself because we're recording this, that would be awesome. Alkaline diet. So we can get those little mouth strips that you test your saliva and it will tell you if you're more acidic or more basic. And I have had some patients that want to do that, but all of our foods are somewhat acidic or somewhat basic. And if the diet is too acidic, our primary acidic foods are going to be meats and dairies and grains and sugars. Those are going to make you acidic. And when your blood is acidic, the body will leach calcium out of the bone into the blood to buffer the more acidic blood. And it's a brilliant mechanism that the body is doing. It's buffering our acidic blood. But the problem is it's leaching calcium out of the bone. And unless you have enough D and K, you're not going to put that calcium back into the bone. So for my patients that drink coffee, if they've been big soda drinkers or big coffee drinkers, we have to figure out how do we balance back out that diet. And a really easy recommendation would be a green drink, either one that you make yourself where you're juicing or you're blending, or you go to a juice bar or Whole Foods and you're getting a juice, a drink. But it doesn't need to be, it's not just one. It's, over the course of a year, you're overall alkalizing your diet. Growth factors. There's a number of different nutrients that stimulate bone. The ones that I use, they're called protomorphogenics. And I'm not going to mention specific brand names here because it doesn't really matter, and this would need to be a conversation with your physician, but there's peptides now that actually stimulate bone growth. Balance, this is key. I tell my patients, low bone density is particularly a problem, but it's worse if you fall. So let's train your body to have better balance and not fall. Weight-bearing exercise and regular exercise. All of these are components that are going to help to support bone density. And it's very hard for me to tell people and tell patients what type of exercise to do. And, well, what do you mean by weight-bearing? Patients ask me, what do I do? What exercises do I do for the bone? And so now having OsteoStrong as a referral and a place to send patients, and I've already had some patients go and see improvements. So I'm super excited to have you as a partner. So there's my overview of bone. I'm going to move on and pass this over to Jayson.
Again, my name is Jayson. I'm the owner of the Arcadia and McCormick Ranch locations. Next slide. So what we say here, what can OsteoStrong do for you? In this list here, we strengthen bones. We do that through a process called osteogenic loading. Osteogenic loading is putting pressure on the axes of the bones. And I'll get into
no
this.
to the video.
Somebody needs to mute themselves, please.
Mary, could you mute again? There you go. Osteogenic loading is putting axial pressure on the bones. When we do osteogenic loading, it also strengthens the muscles through myofibril hypertrophy. All of this, improving bone density, improving muscle strength, helps improve speed and power, helps to improve balance and agility. We're forcing the body fluid, natural healing abilities to decrease joint and back pain, as well as improve the overall ligaments and tendons. In addition, we're helping, just like her previous wheels stated, we're improving balance. If we can improve balance, we can help prevent falls and injury. We go next. These are just some of the clients here at OsteoStrong and McCormick Ranch that have had positive improvement, some within 12 months, some a little bit longer. We've got Michelle at 5.2% in 12 months. We've got Susan, who increased, which was really impressive, especially with someone that has that is a tougher case, 7% in 11 months. We got Nina here at 13.8% in 14 months. One of our latest clients, she'd been with me, she's here for 1 year. Her name is Janine. She's now completely out of osteoporosis in her hips, and she moved from osteoporosis in her spine. Now she's osteopenia. So we're really thrilled, and she was ecstatic when she came in to talk to me yesterday. So what I do here really makes a difference, and it's a huge impact. Just know that these improvements take time. As with anything, when we're conditioning the body, it's a slow process. Our sessions are 10 minutes once per week, and we're triggering the body's natural ability to heal. Next, please.
I love those smiles.
They were super happy. I love them. And all of our clients tend to be like family. We see them year after year, week after week. And so, learning their stories and sharing their ups and downs, it's kind of like the daily thing that we do here. This slide represents the life cycle of bone. So as the first one you can see here, we've got 30-year-old bone. It's nice and dense. That collagen is thick. But as we age, we have bone density that looks similar to the 50-year-old bone, and that's porous bone. From the time we're born to the time we're about 25 years old, we're constantly improving bone density and strength in the body. But after the age of 25, that aging process sets in, and we begin losing bone density about 1 or 2% per year. But at OsteoStrong, we're able to recondition the body. So instead of losing those 1 or 2% per year, we can actually remineralize and strengthen the microarchitecture of the interior of the bone. The stronger that is, the stronger, it's like the true tensile strength of bone, the stronger your muscles can be. And we can eliminate these age-related issues such as joint and back pain, weak muscles, loss of flexibility, and poor posture. Next, please. And how do we do this? Yes, osteogenic loading, but the body has an ability to respond to environmental triggers. The brain is the command center of the body. It is designed to adapt and respond to all sorts of stimulus, from warm weather to cold weather. Your body shivers, you walk into a dark room, your pupils dilate. All of these things happen instantaneously. When we trigger the body's ability to heal, when we put pressure on the axes of the bones, the same thing happens. The brain is the command center and protects the body. So it's going to start creating, stimulating osteogenesis in the body. Those osteoblasts are going to start laying down new collagen. And then slowly over time, given the right micronutrients that Dr. Turner talked about earlier, protein, your body will mineralize. And this is all based on science from the 1800s called Wolff's Law. It's taught in every medical school. But up until about 2012, they didn't really know what to do with it. They knew bones and muscles adapt to heavy lifting and impact force. But what do you do? As Dr. Turner said, we need weight-bearing activity. Okay, what's the minimum dose requirement? No one knew. We knew powerlifters were really strong. We knew gymnasts had the strongest bones, pound for pound, of any athlete out there. But it wasn't until 2012 when a group of researchers in the UK with over 2,000 participants set out to discover the minimum dose requirement for osteogenesis. So now we don't have to guess what that number is. Next, please. Oh, let me just show you the machines and then we'll get back into it. I forgot that this was put in this location. Our machines look like standard gym equipment, but they're not. These devices actually don't move. We're compressing your body into these two static points, from the arms to the back. We've got one for the upper which works from the wrist to the collarbone into the sternum. We have one that works the spine from the base of the skull all the way down the spine, hips, knees, and heels. We've got one for core that works on the ribs. And then the most important is the femoral neck. We've got the lower from the heels all the way to the hips. Next slide. One back. There we go. So based on that study in 2012, those researchers found out that the minimum dose requirement to trigger osteogenesis in your hips is 4.2 multiples of your body weight. Now that sounds like a lot, but it's something that we do here safely. We put you in your strongest angle, which is 120 degrees, and allow you to exert maximum force on your body, whatever that is. Your body has a natural ability for a neural inhibition. So there's never more force placed on your body than your body can handle. So as you can see here, axial force is that pressure from the top to the bottom that will stimulate your body's ability to heal. When the bones are stronger, that also gives the muscles permission to be stronger as well. They go hand in hand. The weaker your bones are, the weaker your muscles will be. Have you ever wondered when you're working out at the gym and as you age, you're lifting less and less weight and you can't figure it out? Well, the reason is because your bones are weaker. And as your bones weaken, the muscles weaken as well. Your brain will not let your muscles be stronger than your bones can support. Next slide. And how we strengthen muscle is through myofibril hypertrophy. So myofibrils are the thinnest filament within the muscle cell. Now, while you have an absolute amount of muscle cells in the body, you can't develop new muscle cells. You can create new myofibrils within the muscle cell. Those are the tiniest little contractile properties that recruit other muscle cells to work. The more you have, the more muscle cells you can activate, and the denser the muscle becomes. So the benefits of myofibril hypertrophy, you have increased strength, it supports metabolic function and blood glucose response. So how that happens, metabolic function, every myofibril that is created within the muscle comes with a brand new insulin receptor. The more insulin receptors that are new, the better blood glucose your body can handle. So if you have an A1C that's high, just by doing osteogenic loading, you can slowly start reducing that A1C level. Next.
I just have to plug here. This is one of the reasons why I tell people about moving more when we're trying to treat prediabetes, diabetes, and even cholesterol problems because of that insulin connection. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, as we age through diet or poor diet, our insulin receptors get damaged. When they get damaged, your body cannot handle blood glucose well. So, a side effect of osteogenic loading is that brand new insulin receptors are created. Your body becomes healthier. You can handle blood glucose better. So, we're really excited about that. Next slide, please. So this is a conventional method for strengthening bones. We knew powerlifters were really strong. They're lifting multiples of their body weight, 500, 600 pounds through a rep. We knew gymnasts were really strong. Again, pound per pound, a gymnast is the strongest athlete out there. However, gymnasts age out of their sport about 19 years old. And it isn't because they don't love their sport anymore. It's oftentimes because they injure ligaments and tendons. Jumping off a 4-foot beam is not something that we would recommend for anyone that's in an osteoporotic state, someone that's trying to stimulate this osteogenic loading and bone density. So the conventional method, powerlifting and gymnast, our method, next slide. It's safe for your joints. So we put you in 120-degree angle. That's the angle at which you absorb impact. We allow you to push your maximum force. There's no impact on the body. It's safe. We put you in your strongest position, allowing you to exert that maximum force. There's always a session coach with you, a certified session coach. every step of the way, someone's going to be setting you up in your perfect biomechanical form, making sure that you are safe. Our sessions are sweat-free. They take about 15 minutes once per week. It's quick and convenient. Next. And look, this is you doing an OsteoStrong session. As you can see, she's here with Coach Mariah. And if you want to go ahead and push that button there.
So we actually did videos of me doing this. I didn't understand what osteogenic, I did not understand this. Jayson explained it to me multiple times. I still didn't understand it until I went and did it. And I was like, oh, this is how I can push that much weight and not hurt myself. So these are actually videos that our amazing IT man was able to do. So I'll show you these short little videos.
It's going to be 2.5. That's a rapid growth trigger. Okay. When you're ready, go for it. Good. Just give me a little bit more push, a little bit more, and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax.
And so as you can see here, there's no movement. I mean, the movement is about an inch. It's pressure and rotation of the joints. And if you look in that first screen, you can see her instantaneous force production. It's kind of big for the first push, then it goes down to 0, then it arcs up, levels out there. I don't know what that force is.
2.7.
Yeah, 2.7. So in your arms, we understand that the minimum trigger for osteogenesis is 2.5 multiples of your body weight. Now you're thinking, I can do that at the gym. Well, you must multiply yourself times 2.5, and that is what will stimulate osteogenesis in your arms, your wrist, and your sternum. So this is why it's so difficult to go to the gym and push through a range of motion the force required to stimulate osteogenesis in the body. Go ahead and the next one.
5, 4. That's good. Squeeze your core for 3, 2, 1, and all the way out. There you go.
And here we're doing the hips, the heels, knees, hip, femoral neck of the body. And then we'll move to that.
Go for it. Do a little bit more and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go.
Here we're working on the ribs and the core. The stronger your core is, the better balance that you're going to have. And next.
And one thing I'll just say on this one that I really appreciate is she fixes my physiology. Like she made me perfect. I already thought I was in perfect posture. I did 20 years of ballet. I was like, I got great posture. She literally was tilting my pelvis over and over and over until I was in the perfect alignment with my back before. And this one, I didn't understand that you're not pulling with your arms, you're standing up with your legs. So I'll press play on this one.
So good.
Good. Core for 3.
Whoops, sorry.
2. Okay, so shoulder blades back, tuck under. Right there. Keep it there. You should start standing up nice and tall through your legs, through your heels. Go for it. Now high. That's perfect. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There you go. Oh, cool.
So as you can see, we're only doing this movement for about 5 seconds. That's plenty of time for the brain to respond to that adaptive trigger, that external force that's going to allow the body to begin the healing process. Under certain force, like this one here is 2.5 multiples of your body weight, that is enough force to say, hey, I'm expecting to be pushing and carrying more weight. We need to support the body so that it can do it. So slowly, we recondition the body for strength.
Jayson, I have a question. If this is an okay time to ask it. So I've told patients that the thinner they are, the more at risk for bone loss they are because they haven't been carrying around as much body weight. So, someone that's 50 pounds overweight, they probably have better density of their spine because they've been weightlifting, an extra 50 pounds. So for this, if they're needing to then get, 2.5 of their body weight, someone that's 50 pounds overweight, would they have to get 2.5 of their ideal body weight or their current body weight to stimulate osteogenesis?
we say it's their current body weight because they still have osteoporosis with the weight that they're
Right.
currently carrying. So you've got to
Right.
stimulate more, something more than what you're currently doing to trigger that natural response to the body.
Okay. That's an interesting thought to think about the weight that, they're already carrying around. I definitely
And,
see.
and if you think about it, many of our clients are very active. They play tennis, they work out, they have bar and yoga and Pilates, they eat well.
Mhm.
They're like, how do I have osteoporosis?
Mhm.
I'm doing everything right. Well, one of the reasons, hormones, which you talked about briefly, it's really important. There's Dr. Turner has her wheel of bone health. Every single thing in that wheel is important. Without osteogenesis or osteogenic loading, your bones will not get stronger. You can have all the protein, the hormones, the micronutrients, but your bones will not get stronger. If you're doing osteogenic loading and you're not taking micronutrients and you don't have enough calcium and the D and the K isn't present, it's not going to work. I've had clients that tell me that they're just testing me out for a year and they stop doing everything else that they were doing, but they want to do osteogenic loading. So I'm like, well, that's great. It's not likely going to work. You need all the building blocks. So imagine, just like Dr. Turner said, the calcium is the brick, the D and K is the mortar. You need it all to make a house. So we're building a strong foundation, and slowly over time, it works. Now, if you are at OsteoStrong for over a year or a year and a half, and you haven't improved or you've gotten worse, that means there's something wrong physiologically in the body. And that's when you work with your doctor to try to find out what's missing. Is it hormones? Is it absorption? We know there are certain diseases and disorders that happen to the body that cause bone loss. So it's important to figure out holistically how to solve the problem.
I should have had a slide on other medical conditions that contribute to bone loss. And another really important one is meds. There's actually a long list of medications that increase the likelihood of bone loss. So if we post this, maybe we'll have a follow-up blog.
Yeah, from your long-term steroid use, and others. I mean, that's and disorders, and there's all sorts of reasons that we have osteoporosis, and it's the job of the doctor to figure out what is that reason, and then we're just one piece of the puzzle, and we're happy to do what we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for I think that was a lot. Oh, wait, we've got this slide.
So we just wanted to announce that at OsteoStrong, we have 2 events that are happening in May. We've got our Echo Light event, where you can come into the center, schedule an ultrasound, where we scan the microarchitecture of the bones, where we can see the true health of what's going on inside the bones. While a DEXA is the gold standard, it's imperfect. While it measures bone density, bone mineral density, it doesn't actually tell us what's going on the inside, whether the trabecular bone is healthy. So this Echolight device, which is an ultrasound, allows for that. And you will get a 5-year risk factor as well. And then the other thing, we're having an open house in Arcadia, and that is Sunday, May 19th from 2 to 4. And we welcome anyone to come and check us out. We've got a speaker, one of our other clients, that in a year's period of time went from osteoporosis to normal bone in almost everywhere but one location. So she's a professional motivational speaker. So we're thrilled that she is speaking at our event.
So is the scan available all day from May 3rd to 9th? Like for that?
If you scan that barcode, that QR code right there, it will take you to a website where you can book an appointment. We have 96 slots, of which 20 are taken. So there is plenty of opportunity for a person to schedule that appointment.
Cool. I love the bonanza.
Bonanza.
The bonanza. That's awesome.
No, that is our technical guru's attempted humor.
I love it. Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. Go ahead.
I was just saying, do we have any questions from any of the people on the call?
I'm gonna unshare here and see if I can look at the texts and see if we had any texts. Oh, good. All sorts of familiar faces here, or familiar names, I should say. Hello, beautiful ladies. Any
Hi.
questions? You can either unmute or feel free to pop it in the text. Thank you for popping on here, Jayson, and explaining this, because as I said, I'd heard of it and I didn't get it until I finally got it. So
Well, I have a question. I'm happy. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
My question is, are there any clinical, oh, thank you. Are there any clinical trials to back up these increases? When you say like 8% increase, is that the bone density increased 8% of say of 100% of being perfect, or how does that percentage
No,
work?
it's over their last DEXA. So typically a client will come to us with years of DEXA, multiple years of DEXA where it is showing loss over time. And so what we tell people is the first 6 months, we begin to slow the loss down. The next 6 months, we stabilize. And then after that, we begin improving that bone density. Now, everybody's body is different depending on disease, medications, micronutrient levels, protein, and you may have a faster improvement or slower improvement depending on what's going on with your body. And now for the clinical trials, there are two underway currently. There's the Greek study, which we have an abstract that we can share. The two doctors that conducted that study showed that osteogenic loading through OsteoStrong had significant improvement in the trabecular bone. So that study's not quite finished, but we can send you the abstract. And then there's another study with OsteoStrong in the Netherlands, and that should be out sometime by the end of the year.
For those of you,
That's good. Thank you.
I'll help. I'll get that information to you. I'll probably send it out in my newsletter and a blog as a follow-up from our OsteoStrong webinar.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have another one.
Shoot.
Say, is this something you have to do continuously, or can you get to a certain point and then maintain it and come back in a year or two, or what is the best success rate?
The best success rate is continued osteogenic loading. It's like working out. Like if you stopped going to the gym, what will happen to your physical strength? Oftentimes atrophy, or you just get weaker. We're trying to reverse 30 years of bone loss, so it takes time. It's a slow process, but the benefits: improve posture, reduction of joint and back pain, and then slowly over time, bone density.
Okay, makes sense. So if a person has a minus 3.5 bone loss, osteoporosis, can it improve to normal in say 2 years?
It really depends on the doctor that's treating you. You would really have to, and I can't make promises, but you would have to get everything right. You would have to be doing everything. And some people choose, for their own personal reasons, not to take bioidentical hormones. Some people are vegan. Some people have medical issues which prevent, natural, improvements in bone density. So it really just depends. But in 2 years, you would have significant improvement if you did everything on that wheel.
Okay. And what I have a question, and maybe I should go over with Dr. Turner, what type of calcium? There's carbonate, there's citrate, there's all these different kinds, and and what's the dosage with K and D and all this stuff? So that all that matters as well. And I have a thyroid issue, so that can add to the complexity of my particular profile.
I can take a stab at that
does.
one, Jayson, and then if you want to,
Mhm.
I'd love to hear
No.
your. So calcium citrate is probably my preferred form. We also very easily absorb calcium in our diet. So we can do a diet diary and look to see. I usually estimate that the person's getting between 300 to 500 milligrams of calcium in their diet already. And for bones, you need between 1,000 and 1,200 milligrams in a day. So if she's getting between 300 and 500 in her diet, then she's probably going to need an extra 800 to 1,000 in supplemental form. And I don't usually give that to a woman until she stops having a period, because that is when I know the bones are most critical. For example, I'm not taking any calcium right now. I'm 43 and I'm waiting to take it. The vitamin K, I also tend to wait to give until she's perimenopausal. And there's a lot of different research about vitamin K. There's also the different types of vitamin K. So I will kind of customize the calcium based on their diet. But generally, now you know you need between 1,000 and 1,200. My preferred form is calcium citrate. I don't use calcium carbonate. Carbonate is a cheap, horribly absorbed form that actually doesn't go into your bloodstream very well. It stays in your colon and, well, it becomes expensive poop, basically. So I wouldn't bother with that form. The 3 forms of vitamin K, K1, I never give. It's not available as a supplement form. K2 is the one I do give. There are 2 types of vitamin K2, and K3 is also not available as a supplement. So I don't use 1 or 3. K2, there's 2 types, MK4 and MK7. And there's actually research that supports both are used for bone. And I've had patients bring me their own research. I've read a number of books and different studies, and I've pretty much landed on preferring MK4. There's some good research that MK7 is better for bone out of Canada, but in Canada, they're not allowed to use MK4. So, and then the dosage for the vitamin K also varies greatly depending on the different research. A lot of bone products have 1 or 2 milligrams, so 45 micrograms to 90 micrograms. And then there's other research that shows you're using the MK4 in the 30 to 45 milligrams, which would be 45 times as much. So there's my quick I guess my not so quick answer to your dosage question, Kathy.
Okay, I'll have to talk to you privately. See you on it. Thank
Do you
you.
have a preferred calcium, Jayson?
Well, we use AlgaCal. It's
Right.
plant-based, calcium. It's more easily absorbed in the body. That's the one that's been studied. They have clinical studies about the absorption and bone density improvement in 6 months. They also use a booster called strontium citrate. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people can tolerate it, some people can't. But if you can, they give a money-back guarantee in 6 months if your bone density doesn't improve.
So can you spell the
So-
first one you named, the first calcium?
Citrate.
No, the first one, the first calcium type.
AlgaCal.
OsteoCal.
Yeah, could you spell?
AlgaCal. Just algae, cal.
Oh.
ALGAECAL.
So that's the name of the company?
That's the name of the company, AlgaCal.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Can you spell that again, please?
It's in the chat. We just put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
Well, I don't see the chat. I don't know. Let's see, leave. Okay, leave meeting. Never mind. God, I left
No.
the meeting.
Just it's ALGAECAL. Algae, like in the ocean, AlgaCal, where it comes
Okay.
from.
Okay.
We had a question, can this help with scoliosis?
We do have many clients with scoliosis. Again, we're strengthening the ligaments and tendons up and down the spine. I don't know that it's going to improve the curvatures, but people do find relief just in the being able to strengthen their posture and improve posture. So it doesn't quite help with scoliosis, but it improves posture.
Any other questions?
What doses does the AlgaCal start with is recommended for someone with severe osteoporosis?
That is something that AlgaCal could probably answer for you. They have a hotline for OsteoStrong clients. They will spend as long as you need. They'll spend an hour with you on the phone, detailing your history, as well as any of the other medications that you're taking, so that you can get their product in and arrange it into your diet.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any
Any
last
other
questions?
questions?
Awesome. Well, Jayson, thank you again for your time, and hopefully this was informative for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate being able to talk to your patients about OsteoStrong and how we do what we do.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
great. Thank you very much.
This will be
you.
recorded and we'll post it. So if any of your friends missed it, we'll send out the recording and feel free to share. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.